A 9-man panel saddled with responsibilities to investigate reports of alleged police brutality and restitution for victims of SARS held its sittings for a little over a year, and the outcome is this 309-page document presented to the governor.
After, for emphasis, we're seeing this for the first time.
The Lagos State Governor is now looking forward to a 4-man panel report that will produce a white paper expected to be ready about 6 days from now. Lawyers and civil society groups have asked the government to ensure full implementation when the white paper is ready. President Mohammed on his part, through his social advisor and media, is waiting to see how the various states deal with their findings before the federal government's intervention. But that intervention seems to have come with the Minister of Information rejecting the ENDSARS report of Lagos, calling it the worst ever produced by a judicial panel of inquiry in Nigeria. According to him, the report is riddled with many errors.
Without mincing words, let me say right away that never in the history of any judicial panel in this country has his report been riddled with so many errors, inconsistencies, discrepancies, speculations, innuendos, omissions, and conclusions that are not supported by evidence. What is currently circulating in public space is simply a rehash of the unverified fake news that has been playing on social media since the incident of October 20th, 2020.
The minister also explains that he heard in some quarters people calling for his resignation, but that he will not do so, maintaining that there was no massacre in Lekki Toll Gate in Lagos.
There is absolutely nothing in the report that is circulating to make us change our stand that there was no massacre at the Lekki Toll Gate on October 20th, 2020. For us to change our stand, a well-investigated report of the incident that meets all required standards and will withstand every scrutiny must be produced and presented to the public.
The minister then takes time to highlight what he calls errors on the report.
How can a judicial panel convince anyone that the names of some casualties of the Lekki Toll Gate of toll gate incident listed as numbers 3, Jide, 42, Tola, and 43, Wisdom, are not fictitious names? They have no surnames, and yet they were confirmed dead. It is simply incredible that the judicial panel set up to investigate an incident has submitted a report laden with allegations, the same allegations it was set up to investigate in the first instance. Instead of sitting for all of 1 year, the panel could have just compiled social media tales by the moonlight on the incident and submitted, saving taxpayers' funds and everyone's time.
From all indications, this may not be the last comment on the ENDSARS panel report. As a matter of fact, the minister's response is likely to open another floodgate of debate on the leaked report. And this, of course, raises more anxiety among Nigerians and the international community on the real report and how the authorities will eventually deal with the recommendations therein.
Yep, we're counting down 6 days to the report of the white paper of the Lagos State government on the ENDSARS panel that it set up last year. And as you have seen and heard, there's been a lot of conversations and agreements and disagreements on this. But and we've heard all kinds of sides. Let's hear from another one who is a legal practitioner and lawyer to ENDSARS campaigners, Mr. Adeshina Ogulano, former chairman, Nigerian Bar Association in Ikeja branch. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Well, you certainly have been hearing all kinds of things and reading all kinds of things, and definitely also getting calls and reactions since the leaked report went out and the Lagos State government received the official report from its panel set up a year ago. How have you been taking this on board, and maybe your clients by extension?
Well, thank you. You know, the report itself has taken the nation by storm. One ordinarily ought not to be so highly celebratory of this report, assuming it's a normal country, it's a normal system. If things have been going on normally, then it should just have been the norm that when a panel duly constituted and filled with competent people, when they do their work, they're expected to come out with the truth as they see it, just as judges will say, you say, as per the evidence before me. But the history, the antecedent, the precedent of what we have in this country is that government bodies, government agencies, because the panel is a government body, they've not had the history of usually coming out with the truth. So many people are very skeptical. Even when this Okuobi panel was set up, that is the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry into police brutality and other related matters, or as they first put it euphemistically, they said the Lekki shooting incident. You know, that what could come out of it? Well, there's nothing, you're just wasting your time. Those of us who went there to represent petitioners in respect of the Lekki incident, which we always maintain is a massacre, people are so skeptical. And so when the report came out and it damnified the government, the state, the federal government by way of its agencies, I'm talking of security agencies now, the Nigerian military and the Nigerian police, it was shocking, because that was not was expected given the history of panels in Nigeria. And so you could now imagine that government in Nigeria must have been badly hit because you are being indicted by the panel that you set up yourself. The Lagos State government set or composed this panel exclusively, you know. And at the end of 30 months, near 30 months of work, they came out with 309 pages indicting. And you know, the issue of the Lekki toll gate massacre was controversial, ab initio, to speak as a lawyer, right from the onset. Some people said it was a Nollywood film, it was acting, it was a deliberate campaign to malign the government of Nigeria and all that. But so many other people, many more other people believe otherwise. Now, a verdict had come. Incidentally, before the verdict came out, the positions that we are waiting for the panel, we are waiting for the verdict. Now the verdict had come out. It's now getting very difficult for some people to accept the fact of this. And many of these people who are either members or loyalists or supporters of what we call the ruling, in Nigeria we call them the ruling party, you know, instead of just being decent, you know, they are cherry picking, they are trying to look for flaws, and, you know, clutching at straws, just trying to save themselves. This one is a government panel. It's not a student union panel. It's not a panel set up by labor activists or civil society that will say they have bias. It was set up by government. And I participated I participated and exhaustively. And when I was listening or hearing or reading what the very interesting Minister of Information had to say, I was just smiling and feeling sad at the same time, not only because he's a minister, but it happens, they said he's a lawyer. If you are a lawyer, a lot of things wrong with the position he took. You know, he was just fulminating, he was just vituperating, abusing the panel members, and he's a lawyer. You know, this man could actually be referred to the RPC. He was just talking anyhow, and he was talking partisan like a politician, not as a leader. You see, when you see the history of politicians in Nigeria is that they don't accept verdicts once it does not be for them.
But you know, what's interesting here, Mr. Obilano, is so far, it's everybody knows it. The one that is in public is a leaked report. And there are those who believe that, to a large extent, this may not be the official report. Are you saying that this is the official report?
Yes.
How would you know? The government has not released it.
You see, let me go into the jurisprudence of that. There are a lot of, well, the word that came to my mind is what we call, I would say in Yoruba, boju boju, or hide and seek. You know, you have this story, you have this arrangement, legal arrangement, which are actually shields to the establishment. You say, when you set up a committee, when you set up a panel, the law is that, well, the panel will now make recommendations to a government, which will issue a, what do you call it, a white paper on it. And it is that white paper, not the report itself, that we count.
But that's the official position. That's what the law says.
I'm a lawyer, and I'm telling you the jurisprudence behind it. Okay. That is Ojoro, what cheating. You see, the important thing is that these gentlemen, the panel, did a report. And then you have already built in the law. And that's why I say what you call the law is a preference or the values of the ruling class. When you now begin to say, oh, the report is not what's going to matter. In fact, under the law, you are not compelled to even accept a single line of recommendation. You understand? And they code the law for you. And when they begin to code the law for you, when they begin to insist on due process in Nigeria, you can say, when people choose, go to court, go to court. They know it. The British who gave us this law, they don't practice it this way. A lot of decency, a lot of personal decency, dignity, a sense of historical responsibility come to play in the exercise and discharge of political powers and administrative powers. But in this country, the reverse is the case. That's why somebody will mock you. Say, go to court now. Have you not gone to court? Go to court now. Even as a lawyer, I will go to the police station to represent a client, and the police officer, even senior, will say, lawyer, don't come and disturb us here. You go to court and wait for us there. Is that the law? So what I'm trying to tell you is this. Lagos State government set up a panel, and they've also constituted what you call the white paper committee, the committee for the white paper. Now that's quite amusing again, because the head of that particular white paper is the participant. That's the Attorney General of Lagos State.
Is that against the law?
I'm telling you, and anybody insisting law, I'll continue to tell them that law swims in the ocean of sociology, of reality. The gentleman is a member of the Security Council of Lagos State. In fact, those of us that were there, via his ministry, that particular panel was facilitated by his office. And he used to come occasionally and all that. And we could see, and they've let loose their own legal representative there. I'm talking with respect to my learned friend, senior counsel, Abiodun Owonikoko, who have been saying a whole lot of things on their behalf of all that. In fact, actually, undermining the very position of the Lagos State government, who by its Commissioner for Information Strategy, Gbenga Omotosho, was asking for people to keep their gunpowder dry and to wait for the outcome and all that kind of a thing. Now, what Mr. Lai Mohammed has done is, even honestly speaking, politically, if you are conscious, bullying Lagos State. The federal government did not set up the panel. The panel did not submit the report to federal government. You understand? And here you see the minister of the federal government dismissing the panel, tearing the report apart, and already setting an agenda for Lagos State. Meanwhile,
do you see the possibility of the Lagos State government, that committee, being bullied?
Which of the committees? The panel?
The white paper committee. The
panel
the
white paper.
Do you see that happening?
Yes. Lagos, you see, like I was saying, you can't begin to isolate the reality of the existence of law in the environment and habitat of politics and sociology. Lagos State is an APC government controlled. The federal government in Lagos is controlled, you understand. And what Mr. Lai Mohammed has done is what in Yoruba is called subordination. You see, you are putting your nose in what does not concern you. I think Femi Adesina has correctly maintained a position earlier, that was about 5 days ago, that we are waiting. And I mean, speaking for the presidency, we are waiting for the states. I think maybe it was even the president himself who said it, or Mr. Femi Adesina, whoever said it. That's the correct, proper position. Now, the gentleman said, we have been way out of the country. Now we are here. We have studied it. And it's a rehash of Tales by Moonlight. How could somebody begin to say that you are not there as a petitioner, you are not there as a witness, you are not even there as an observer? You are not even there as an observer, and you didn't even send legal counsel to represent you.
But he listed 10 loopholes.
Give me one.
I'm very sure that you have read all of them.
Let me break the ones that I consider major in his own view. Okay. He was talking about the forensic report. And just as I was wondering, this gentleman is a lawyer like me, trained. Every lawyer knows that the opinion of an expert, first of all, is not sacrosanct. A judge is not compelled to accept the view of an expert. That's one. Then two, there are two experts. The views of the two experts do not agree exactly on all the same points. Then, most crucially, what Mr. Lai Mohammed was quoting, it's just like when they are arguing from the Quran or the Bible, they just quote one portion like this. If you are not versatile, you are not aware of the real extent of the thing, you may be misled. He was quoting the expert view of the forensic fellow brought in by Lagos State government, and even at that, in only half. In that report by Oxygen, or they call it the company, forensic company Oxygen, the expert himself admitted that the medical records that he studied show that there are some of the victims who suffered injuries from military-grade ammunition. Lai Mohammed did not say that. And if you are not part of the panel, if you didn't participate, if you don't have the report, which I have, like that particular forensic report, you wouldn't know that. That is one. Then the gentleman was talking about people, where are the families? In fact, that's so laughable. So laughable. It's because you say, where are the families of the deceased? How is the government, how is they going to pay the patients? Is the proceedings of this particular panel that I will use to just counteract what I said. Professor Bafunwa, by virtue of cross-examination of another lead counsel for the ENDSARS petitioner, that is my brother, Olumide Fusika, SAN, was compelled to bring records of 99 people who are picked all over the state, including 3 that they agreed came from Lekki. The question is this. These people, these 99 people, despite heavy announcement by Lagos State government for people to come and identify their bodies, very few people came.
Why is that?
That's the reality, because you see, let me tell you, if you are an elite like you or me, there are some very wrong assumptions you make because you are not in connect with the reality of our people. If for example, you say, oh, I have family, I have numbers, as I'm going, I've left my phone and my contact with my people and all that kind of a thing. That is not the reality of many Nigerians. You see, let me tell you, even dealing with the living, the people that survived, and I'm speaking on my honor, it was very difficult to get there. Just a fraction of people who are injured or who are eyewitnesses that managed to come. When we were handling them, there was a day we came with a bus load of them. Their mothers, fathers were with them. At least 5 refused point blank at that point to come down again.
It's still a little befuddling why that happens. As you said, perhaps there are some realities. Just 1 second. Okay, perhaps there are some realities that
intimidation.
One is not aware of. You'll speak to that intimidation, but let's listen to this same thing that the minister talked about in the light of what we're talking about.
There's absolutely nothing in the report that is circulating to make us change our stand that there was no massacre at Lekki on October 20, 2020. I repeat, there is absolutely nothing in the report that is circulating to make us change our stand that there was no massacre at the Lekki toll gate on October 20th, 2020. For us to change our stand, a well-investigated report of the incident that meets all required standards and will withstand every scrutiny must be produced and presented to the public. The report in circulation does not meet those requirements. We also appeal to the families of those allegedly killed in Lekki, at the Lekki toll gate, to speak out and come forward. It's untenable to say that some families did not come out because they are afraid. With the same families that are afraid and did not come out, will they collect? Will it be morally right for them to come and collect compensation on behalf of their wards who could not even come out to testify for? Any parent who is afraid to testify about the death of his or her child is not worth to become a parent.
Well, you want to respond to that?
Yes. You know, there's a lot to respond to what Mr. Mohammed has just said. He was said it's not tenable that that people are afraid, and so it's not to him. It's not tenable. I've told you that it belongs to the class of people who are disconnected from reality of life. Look, let me tell you, even now, just 3 days ago, for Sunday night, my client, Kamsi Chuku, was attacked, was caught brutally. Our fellow colleagues who went to see her in the hospital to follow up on her matter, they came out only to meet envelope stuck to their car that you are next and all that. I've been finding it very difficult to persuade these ladies to make a report to the police. In fact, I heard that the commissioner of police, Akim Odumosu, was saying that people should come up and if they know that it is true and all that. Why? To him, it's strange. And he says anybody who's a parent and cannot come out is not worthy to be called a parent. It's sorely mistaken. Our people have been heavily traumatized, you know, and are afraid, and it's a shame that in a constitutional democracy, what you find a situation, people are afraid. In fact, 2 days ago, I was being told by somebody, are we having the Abacha? Are we having the Abacha years back again? I said, well, not yet, not quite. We had the press conference. In the afternoon, we finished, only for my clients to start calling me. This is what happened to us in the hospital, and all this kind of a thing. Now, again, he was saying something about scrutiny. Everything had to be put to scrutiny. Let me tell you something, my brother. I was at that panel. What are you going to scrutinize again? Look, of all the parties that came to the panel, and I can mention them, the military was there, the police was there, the LCC was there, where the scene took place, the government of Lagos was there, forensic experts were there, pathologist was there, the medical doctors who treated the victims were there, and then the ENDSARS protesters were there. Of all this group of people, only the ENDSARS people gave eyewitness account. There's something we call probative value. The most potent of them, except where it is ludicrous, is eyewitnesses' account. On that day, there are 4 main groups that ordinarily were eyewitnesses: the protesters, the managers of the LCC, the Nigerian police, and the military. Of these 4, only the protesters came to the panel to give evidence. The military came and brought only 1 person. That's General Taiwo, who was not an eyewitness. After the cross-examination of that gentleman, all the summons served on people who would have been eyewitnesses, who could give eyewitnesses account before the panel, like Lieutenant Colonel Bello, who led the squad, you know, that assaulted these people, did not come. Well, just a minute. I'm going to a point. You see, if you are not there, our witnesses gave account, this is what happened, soldiers do this, policemen did this, and this, and this, and this, and you are the soldiers, and you didn't come. And the panel warned, because people like us were agitated, maybe they should compel them to come. Of course, using what you call experience, the court or the panel knows that a court will not make an order in vain. You know, who will arrest major generals, who arrest soldiers, even ordinary corporal, you know, a panel. So, but they want them. They served them more than 3 or 4 times. They refused to come. They are the ones who will have debunked Sarah Ibrahim.
What's the implication of them not showing up?
This is very clear. Oh, Sinile Olerekere, you are not there when they are sharing the meat. And you are complaining. We have been served notice. Oh, we are sharing meat today. Oh. And you refuse to come. And when you don't say, oh, what a miserable portion they give me. When you have notice of an ongoing case against you, due notice, and you refuse to come. In fact, the first thing is that you are running away because you have things to hide.
Well, Mr. Oglado, just a second. There are so many other things to unpack from what the minister has said and some of the things that you have also said.
Yes.
Because it's very important to lay certain issues, at least give an understanding of what is happening. But we'll unpack a little more when we return from this short break. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Counsel to ENDSARS campaigners, a legal practitioner, and former chairman of the NBA Ikeja branch, Additional Ogunlano, is with us this morning. Thank you very much for being with us one more time. Well, something you said the other time that I've been trying to find a good place to ask you about. When you said that the panel of inquiry is not under obligation to take on board the the account or the witnesses or anything that anyone says in the panel, in front of the panel as witnesses and all of that. What do you mean?
No, kindly come again.
When you said earlier, we were talking that, look, whatever, anything that that is said, okay, that the experts or witnesses or whatever says at the panel, the panel of inquiry is not under obligation to take them. What does that mean?
But that is it now. The panel or a court of law, a tribunal of law, is not a robot. When you present your case, they will evaluate it. That's all what even our traditional set, even at home, it's not enough to come before daddy or mommy and make allegation against Sister Ronke or Brother King and say all sorts of things. They want to weigh. They want to weigh the sensibility, how reasonable, how credible your statements are.
So what then is the essence of expert opinion if it doesn't count?
See, I didn't say expert opinion do not count. I said it is not sacrosanct. This is the law. The mere fact that somebody is an expert in any field in itself is just an advantage because it's an expert that is speaking to a field where is a specialist. You understand? Well, okay. For example, if somebody says, I'm an expert and I've examined the private part of a purportedly raped a lady, and you claim that you are an expert. You now wrote as an expert, that it is rape. Yet, the hymen, and the person is supposed to be virgin, the hymen was not broken, there was no laceration, there was no deposit of semen, and you are presenting to a judge who is a layman in the medical field, you understand? The judge who is a layman is not now under obligation to say, because an expert says it, automatically I must accept it.
But that's the basis upon which some of the allegations are based. Part of the things that the minister said. Just 1 second.
Wait, I've shredded it. When I started with the issue of the forensic expert.
But it's not the only one that has spoken to it. Some counsel to the Lagos State government have also spoken in the same vein, saying that some of the findings that the panel, that are included in the panel, were not factored into the findings and recommendations of the panel.
I do not agree with that, except I am confronted specifically with the issues they raise. You know, one thing is this. Lawyers are on divides. So the lawyer representing Lagos State government were there. It was their panel. And that set of legal team had all the watchers to prosecute their case. In fact, we wanted to bring independent forensic experts. When the company gave us a bill of 25 million, we could not afford it. Lagos State government could afford to bring their own expert, forensic expert. You will find out that Mr. Lai Mohammed did not quote anything from, well, you may not know it, but there are two experts. The expert, that's one they call Sentinel. That's the independent expert, forensic expert, engaged by the panel. The other one that our minister was quoting was the expert engaged by Lagos State government. And even I said, even at that, is a portion of that report that he quoted. And that's not quite nice. The other portion of that report by the Lagos State engaged forensic expert wrote there that there were victims who were injured by military-grade ammunitions. And this is the reality. Somebody else can come tomorrow and say, oh, Golana was lying and all that kind of thing. They should bring the report. I participated. I cross-examined the gentleman, the expert that was presented by Lagos State, by government, you know. And you find out that Lai Mohammed or any other person was just cherry picking. You see, I was talking about scrutiny that Mr. Mohammed was talking about. What do you want the panel to do? The military ran away midway. There was no eyewitness. The best way to confront somebody will say, oh, you did this, you did this. The officers, Colonel Bello and his men will come, maybe two or three of them. No, it did not happen. Or matter who halted the carnage. Okay, is this panel say, oh, anybody to be sanctioned should not include the matter? It was a matter who came to halt the carnage. He was not there. General Ndagi, who is the highest military officer who represents the military in the Security Council of Lagos State, was not there. Mr. Akim, the head of service of Lagos, Muri Okola, who came, who is not a member of the Security Council. The members of the Security Council from Lagos State are the civilians, the governor himself, the secretary to the state government, the chief of staff to Lagos State, and the speaker. These are, if the governor is kept under one constitutional finger, you know that what of the speaker? What of the secretary to the state government? What of the chief of staff? They now brought one, you know, called civil servant, Muri Okola, the head of service, to come and be talking. And even they themselves, and you remember that the governor has been recorded by admitting to death. You understand? And it was, yes.
I don't understand. Say he admitted
to death, to people dying. Yes, now in his broadcast, in the earliest, in fact, it was replayed back to them when it was said, this is the darkest hour of our period, forces beyond our control and all those kind of a thing. What I'm trying to say is this: you are a judge. Multiple parties have conflict on issues. So, okay, a day was set. Well, come and present your cases. One side came. The other side did not come. They were presenting hearsay stories. Even SEC said, oh, no. By 1 o'clock that day or 2 o'clock, we had moved our people out. So the only person who was before this panel to give his own side of the story is the ENDSARS protesters. Sure, you understand? Okay, look at another thing Mr. Mohammed was saying, that, and I think one or two other lawyers said something like that, that how can you now say somebody is calling wisdom, somebody is calling beauty, that these not fictitious, this not, look, I said these people are disconnected from the reality of life. Look at what happened at Ikoyi, when that collapsed. Okay. Most of the people there are all these liberals, people that carry pampa and everything. You just say, oh, Jamiu, when you die, sure you understand, like I mentioned of the 99 persons that died, why was mass burial given to them? Why didn't family come and claim their body? They made an announcement, people didn't come. See, but if you are disconnected from the reality of the existence of the masses, you just be thinking some things are not right.
Well, as I said, there's still a lot to unpack, and as many people have said, perhaps we'll wait for this white paper. But before we let you go, a number of questions may arise from my colleague in Abuja. Marco.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Mr. Ogulano. I just want to ask, are you confirming, because you say you were a member, you were at the panel, you represented ENDSARS protesters, are you confirming that this is the report, which has not been published officially, but this is the report of the panel that was submitted to the Lagos State government?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes.
How are you so confident?
As counsel? Why am I so confident? I'm affirming. You asked me whether it is. I said yes. You said, why am I confident? I said I was there for 13 months. I'm not just any other about the band commentator. I was there. I participated. Even the panel itself we know as much as them about what goes on because we participated. We were there, you know. And incidentally, you see that nobody is even talking about the report on the normal SARS brutality. You know, why are they hot head up, hot under the collar over this one? Yes, you've asked me, yes. Mohammed is sure too. He's a minister. He's not a special person. I'm sure that is the report. I'm sure.
Okay, well, some lawyers have said it's unethical to discuss the report until it has been published by the Lagos State government, which now has in its possession the hard copies as submitted to it by Justice Okuwobi. I do not know if you want to, mention that, but some people will also ask questions as to good faith. The leaking, as you confirm, of this report. Members of the panel say that the Lagos State government kept faith by, saying that they would not interfere with the proceedings of the panel or in terms of the judgment that it reaches, that they expect them to carry out their work independently. But now this report was leaked on the very first day, at least the report that we're seeing around. We saw it on the day that the panel submitted its report to the Lagos State government. In your opinion, do you think that that was a sign of good faith? We don't know where the leak came from, but ostensibly it will be from the people, from the area where the report was compiled.
Well, if you want me to react to you, you yourself, you have said that you can't be sure where it came down from. There are two things. It was submitted, so the person submitting, and then the person who received. Both of them are in a way institutions. The panel is an organ of the bigger institution, the appointer. So what are you now saying? There's a saying in our land, I think in all of our people ethnicity, that a talk, a discussion that has gone beyond one person is no longer a secret. So the office of the Lagos State Governor, if it's a different thing, if you say the report came out before it was submitted. That's not the situation. So it was after it was submitted that came out. So how can you, are you an oracle? And then as for the issue of people saying that it is unethical, what is the ethics there? What is the ethics? What is the ethics? What is the ethics? Because when I say it's unethical, what is the ethics? At any rate, you can't eat your cake and have it. You can't speak from both sides of the mouth. Owo ni koko, I talked about it. It's for Lagos State government. SAN had spoken about it, analyzed it. It's from Lagos State government. If we are people from Lagos self, what of Mr. Mohammed, Abuja, who are traveling outside the country? Well, we have talked about it. So it's not an issue. And when we are talking, let me quite tell you, from a radical perspective, I'm the leader of the radical agenda movement in the NBA, Ramimba. From the radical perspective, law, bourgeois law is not meant for the upliftment of the masses of the people. Where is the bourgeois? And what, okay, I used to say in law, okay, what injustice? What injustice has been done?
Well, Mr. Oglano, there are so many issues around this, and we just have 6 days before the release of the white paper. Yes. Let's just hope that some justice, as everyone is expecting, will be done. Let
me react to it.
I'm sorry, we really have to go now because
but
so
quickly,
many.
We are hoping. We are not hoping. Our position for the ENDSARS people is that we are demanding that justice must be done. It's not a matter of hoping. Exactly. It must be done. Exactly. We are not begging them. We have said we are not begging Lagos State government or federal government, but they will do the right thing. They will be accountable. And if not now, later. And
that is why part of what my colleague said, that the Lagos State government kept faith by ensuring that the panel was indeed independent. And we have seen something, and we're hoping for. Well, we are hoping. You are certain. I guess we're all expecting the same thing. Additional Gulano, legal practitioner, lawyer to ENDSARS campaigners, and former chairman, Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja branch, and you also talked about Ramimba now.
Radical agenda. Movement in the NBA, we are radical lawyers. Because this country, if Nigeria is not okay, the legal profession cannot be okay, the judiciary cannot be okay.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Well, Sunrise Daily returns in a moment with another issue and another guest. Do stay with us.